Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and today I have a chair yoga class. So this chair yoga class will involve many of the common poses that you would see in a yoga class without a chair. However, utilizing the chair as a prop, we're actually going to completely take out bringing it down onto the floor and just kind of modify from the chair or from standing for a lot of these poses. You are welcome to take this as a full class, or you're welcome to use any of the pose modifications that I've provided in this class to carry forward into a yoga class that would be instructed without a chair. So all you'll need today is going to be the chair. If you would like, you can put a mat down on the floor for a little stability, or to reduce if you have a slick floor, or if you're wearing socks. As far as the chair goes, making sure that it's not a computer chair, so no wheels on the bottom. We want it to be nice and stable. The wider the base of the chair is, the more stability you're going to have. And then preferably this chair doesn't have armrests, but if it does, no worries. We can work around that a little bit by just moving the hands into the center of the chair. I'm going to move the chair a little bit so that you can see me, but you're welcome to keep it in one place and just move around it. Just make sure you have plenty of space on either end, because we'll be getting into some moves like down dog and our warrior poses, so making sure you have space for your arms. Additionally, like all classes, this is great because when you need a break, you can always pause the video, take a moment to catch your breath, to grab some water, whatever you need to do, and then press play when you're ready to get back to it. I am going to start seated on the chair, so why don't you meet me there? Okay, so starting on our chair, we're going to be just a little bit away from the back of the chair, so we're not leaning back into it. We're using our core to keep us up nice and tall. And then I'm just going to scoot out to the edge of the chair, just so that my hips are a little bit more stable. My feet are flat on the floor with my knees bent. And we're just going to start with some breathing and bring it into our center today. And then we'll get moving and connect our breathing with our movement, as always in class. So starting out here in this position, I want you to take a moment and start to focus in on your breath. First, just noticing how it's feeling. Maybe it's a little bit shallow. Maybe you're breathing so that your whole chest and belly expands as you inhale, and you find that relaxation as you exhale. Maybe you're somewhere in between. And as you take this time to just notice where you're at right now, then taking this time to also progress it, to become more mindful of it, to bring it into our practice. Taking slightly deeper breaths. Allowing for that expansion through the lungs, as much space as possible to pull in so much oxygen, so much air. So really allowing your chest and your ribs to expand as you inhale. And next, what I want you to do is take a scan of the body. So starting from the top of the head and moving all the way down to the tips of the toes, all I want you to do as we take this scan is just notice how you're feeling today. Noticing if there are any points of tension. Notice where you hold stress from your work day. Notice if maybe you're sore from another good workout this week. And like I said, starting from the top of the head, maybe allowing your eyes to gently close. Noticing what's going on in your face and the muscles in your jaw. I often find that tension builds up there. And taking a breath to let the tongue relax away from the roof of the mouth and the jaw to relax helps. Moving down to the neck and the shoulders. Again, a lot of tension can build up there, so just noticing it, finding that exhale to see if you can allow it to release. Moving down from the shoulders into the arms, if any tension builds up in the fingers or the hands, allowing them to relax nice and lightly on your lap. Down through the torso, the chest, the back, upper and lower, the core. Being seated all day and maybe in not quite an ergonomically friendly chair can allow for a lot of tension to build up in these spaces. Noticing the hips and the glutes. Again, sitting all day, those hips can get nice and tight. And all the way down into the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, down through the lower leg, all the way into the toes and the feet. We're going to take 2 more nice deep breaths here. With that inhale, I want you to think about good posture, sitting up nice and tall. With that exhale, I want you to find that little bit of extra relaxation through the shoulders or any other points of tension that you found. One more time. Big inhale, find that good posture. Exhale to release and relax. All right, we're going to start to connect our breathing with our movement here. We're going to start with some nice, easy upper body flows. So first thing we're going to do is inhale to find our nice long spine. As you exhale, we're going to interlace those fingers, press the palms forward, round out that spine, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Big inhale is going to bring those palms up towards the ceiling, nice and long away from center. Exhale circles those arms down and around. Now you can either interlace the hands behind the back, or you can just place those hands on either side of the chair, inhaling to open up through the chest and pull the shoulder blades together. And then a big exhale to release. We're going to do that twice more. Inhale, long spine. Exhale to interlace, press the palms forward, round out the spine towards that back wall. Big inhale to lift up, nice and long away from center. Exhale to circle down and around. Interlace or place those hands behind those hips. Inhale to open up through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together. Exhale to release. One more time. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale to interlace and press forward, rounding out that spine to the back wall. Inhale to lift up nice and tall. Exhale, circle down and around. Interlace or place behind the hips. Inhale to open up through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together. Exhale to release. Okay, we're going to find a lateral stretch up next. So we've got 2 options for this lateral stretch. If you've got a little space on either side of the hips, you can use that palm for a little bit of support on the chair. If you're feeling pretty stable through the core today, you can just bring that hand down underneath the chair, or you can bring those arms out and up. Now, first thing we're going to do is find the left wrist with the right hand and come up over top. Now from here, like I said, if you're feeling stable, you can either bring that hand down and grab the chair, reach those fingertips towards the floor, or if you need a little bit more support, you can scoot those hips over a little bit and press that palm into that chair. Nice big stretch from these fingertips down to this hip. With your inhale, we're going to bring those arms back to center. We're going to switch those hands, coming up over top in that opposite direction. Same thing on that other side. You've got that arm down long if you're feeling stable. You can always keep that hand up here, or you can use that chair for a little bit of stability on this side through the core. Nice and long from those right fingertips down to that right hip. We're going to do this once more on each side. So big inhale through center, switching over first side. One more time through center, over to that second side one more time. Last time, we're going to come back to center. And then exhale to circle those arms down and around. All right, we're going to roll out the head and the neck next, so go ahead and drop that chin to that chest with that next exhale. From here, we're just going to roll the head side to side, so not in full circles, but bringing that right ear to that right shoulder, and then switching over to that other side, left ear to left shoulder, finding that nice stretch. Moving side to side at whatever pace feels good. So I'm moving a little bit quickly, maybe you take it a little bit slower, and a little bit of a hold in each tiny space. From here, we're going to deepen that stretch. So next time that right ear comes to that right shoulder, I want you to hold it there. We're then going to take that left hand and grab the bottom of that chair. And then we're just going to lean towards that right side just slightly. So I'm opening up even more through the left side of my neck. So just a little tension here on the bottom of the chair is pulling the shoulder down. And then I've got this other ear towards that shoulder. Nice big stretch there. With that exhale, go ahead and release the chair on that side. Circle the head down through center. Switch over to that left side. Same thing with that right hand. To increase the intensity of this stretch, we're just going to grab the bottom of the chair and pull over in that direction a little bit to find this nice stretch to the right side of the neck. And exhale, go ahead and circle that chin back down to the chest, and then inhale to lengthen up. All right, from here, we're gonna hit our cat and cow up next. So we're just gonna do it from this seated position, nice and easy. So I've got my hands on my lap. Once again, I'm a little bit away from the back of the chair, so my spine has some space to move behind me. We're gonna move this with our breath, so flowing with the pace of your breath. With your inhale, we're gonna press the chest forward and look up towards the ceiling, rounding out that spine towards the direction of the camera, towards the front of the room. With that exhale, I still have my hands on my lap. I'm gonna round out the spine towards that back wall, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Now for a little bit deeper of a stretch here, I can reach my hands out to my knees and put a little bit of pressure through them to open up through the shoulders a little bit more and round the spine towards that back wall. If that doesn't feel quite right, we're just moving from this seated position with our breath. So like I said, that inhale presses the chest forward, that exhale rounds that spine out towards that back wall, getting a couple of nice deep breaths in here. Two more nice deep breaths here, twice more in each direction. When you finish those two, bringing it back to center. We're going to do some lower body stretches up next. So finding your center, finding that long spine. And then we're going to bring it to the edge of the chair if you're not already there. So if the hips and the legs are a little bit more on the back of the chair, we're just going to bring it out so that the hips are still stable, but we've got a little bit of space to hinge forward. I'm going to take my right leg out long, and I'm just going to keep that left leg pulled in. So a couple of options. You can keep that foot planted, or for more of a stretch here, you can pull that foot in a little bit. It decreases our stability a little bit. So if you're feeling good and balanced, you can do that. Or if you feel like you need that extra stability, we've got this foot right here. We're going to find a nice big inhale to circle those arms out and up. My right heel is in contact with the floor, so it's stable there. And then I'm just going to fold forward through my range of motion. So if my range of motion brings me down to here, awesome. If your range of motion only brings you to right here, then you can just find that little bit of a stretch. Still totally fine. We're finding this nice stretch through the hamstring, but also through the back as we fold forward here. So whichever of those you're at, and again, for that extra stability, that left foot is planted. With that next inhale, we're going to bring it up and then bring those arms out and up one more time. We're just going to find that same stretch a couple of times. Exhaling to fold forward nice and slow. Inhale to roll it up, bring those arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward nice and slow. Inhale to roll it up. Twice more. Out and up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to roll up. Out and up. Last time. Exhale to fold. All right, so from this position, we're just going to change it up back into another lateral stretch. So I'm going to plant my toes because this isn't about the leg anymore, and this is giving me more stability through this leg. I'm going to keep my right fingertips pointed down, and then I'm just going to bring my left arm up over top. So this is just a modification, a more intense modification on that lateral stretch that we just did. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and bring that arm back, exhale, bring that arm back down around, and then inhale to bring it up. And up next, we're going to find a spinal twist. So I'm just going to bring this foot towards center just a little bit, bend at that knee. And then I'm going to cross my left leg over my right. But it's going to be a nice loose cross. So I've got a lot of space in here, and that's because I want my knee to be nice and close to me. So if you're crossed over here, I just want you to bring that ankle up to that knee if you've got that mobility here. If not, totally fine. You can leave it wherever you need to leave it. And then we're just going to find our spinal twist up next. So I want you to take that right arm with that big inhale, lift it up towards the ceiling. Spinal twist is going to bring that right arm around to the outside of that left knee. So my elbow is going to come down to the outside. Now if you can just grab here, or if you just need to find that spinal twist because those feet are still planted, totally fine. We're bringing it around to the outside. Now where that other hand goes is up to you. You can open it towards that back wall. You can grab the back of that chair, or you can just leave it down by your side. We're trying to open up those shoulders towards that side wall. So find a couple of nice big inhales and exhales here. With those exhales, trying to sink a little bit deeper into this twist. One more nice deep breath. With that next inhale, we're going to bring the spine back to center. We're going to uncross that leg. And we're going to switch sides. Same stretches on that second side. So again, this foot can be planted. That left leg comes out long. We've got our inhale to sweep those arms out and up. We're exhaling to fold it forward. Same thing on this side, taking a moment to see where your range of motion brings you. Again, if you're right here or right here, either way, totally awesome, still a good stretch. Inhale to bring it up. Arms come out and up. Exhale to fold it forward. Same thing again. Inhale to bring it up. Exhale to fold it forward. 3 more times just like that. Inhale brings it up. Exhale folds it forward. Inhale out and up. Exhale forward. Last time. Inhale out and up. Exhale forward. Now we've got our lateral stretch next. So those left fingertips stay towards those left toes. That right arm comes up over top. Nice big stretch here. And exhale brings that hand back down. Inhale rolls it up. All right, we've got our spinal twist on this side. So I'm going to bring my left foot back in, plant that foot. We've got our right foot crossed over. Our left arm is going to come up, big inhale out and up. And then we've got our spinal twist here, bringing that hand to that elbow to the outside of the knee, opening up through those shoulders. Again, you've got those options for that back hand, wherever it needs to be to feel good for you today. Two more deep breaths here. When you finish that second nice deep breath with that next inhale, we're going to bring that spine back to center, and then we're going to uncross that leg. Now from the seated position, we've got just one more thing here, I believe. So what we're going to do is find our figure 4 stretch to finish out before we stand it up and get moving in some more flowing poses. So I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to cross it over my right once again. This time, instead of finding our spinal twist, we're going to find a little bit of a hinge at the hips. But what we want to do is open up that knee. So as much as your range of motion permits, we're bringing that ankle on top of that opposite knee. We're opening up through this knee towards the floor. So I'm a little bit tight today, so mine's kind of up here. If you've got a little more range of motion and you can pull it down to there, or if you've got a little less and you're here, totally fine, wherever you're at. And then all we're going to do is hinge forward at the hips. So I just want you to press forward with that upper body, keeping that spine long. Now if this is a little intense on the ankle, you can move it back so that you've got a little bit more space there. Or you can always put a pillow in between. That's just going to lift this foot up a little bit more and make this more intense with the extra space. With that next inhale, go ahead and sit it on up. Switching those legs, same thing other side. So once again, we've got that foot crossed over. We're trying to open up through that knee, and then we're just going to hinge forward at those hips, finding that nice stretch. Maybe it feels a little bit different on this side than it did on the other. That's fine. I know it does for me today. And exhale, go ahead and sit it back up. Release that leg. All right, we're going to move it to some standing poses, some standing postures. So I'm just going to move my chair so that you can see me from the side view. If you're already situated, all we're going to do is stand it up from here. So I'm going to demonstrate all of these with my hands on the base of the chair If you've got a little bit less range of motion and for any of these you wanted to use the back of the chair, that's totally fine. However, if you're doing that, for example, for our down dog or for more stability in our other poses, I would just bring the back of the chair so that it faces you, so that while you're pressing forward, it's not the chair tumbling over backwards as if it would be if the back was back here, but you have the 2 extra legs for that extra stability there. But since I'm going to be on this side, I'm going to face the base of the chair towards me here, and we're going to start out with our forward fold. So taking your feet about a foot out in front of the chair, and find a nice big inhale to bring those arms out now. With our exhale, we're going to fold forward, so you've got some options here. So I'm going to circle my arms down and around and hinge at the hips. Now to start, because maybe we aren't super warmed up, you've got a slight bend in those knees. If you're feeling good today and you want to take the fingertips down towards the toes, that's awesome. If you want a little more support, just go ahead and place those hands onto that chair. We're just finding this little bit of a stretch here. So whatever of those feels good. And then I want you to round out that spine, really open up. Maybe you've got the flexibility today that you want to place the head down on the chair, wherever you need to be here to find comfortable position and a nice stretch for the back of those legs. With your inhale, we're going to find a halfway lift to a flat back. So since my hands are already on the chair, that's where I'm going to demonstrate from. If your hands are down here, you can just trail them up the legs. All we're going to do for this is inhale to find a flat back. I lengthen my arms, I'm using them as support, and then my spine is nice and long from my shoulders down to my tailbone. With our exhale, we're going to round into it once again. And we're just going to find that twice more. That inhale brings us to a halfway lift with our flat back and our long spine. Exhale to fold forward. One more time, inhale to halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale to fold forward. All right, we're going to bring it to our down dog up next. So planting those hands onto that chair. I like to keep my fingers off of the chair because it's a little bit less wrenching for my wrists. If you feel more stable with your hands right in the center, you can do that. And if you need a little bit of support there, you can always place a blanket or a towel underneath the wrists so that you have a little bit better of an angle on those hands. I'm just going to bring my hands right off here. And then I'm just going to move them back towards the center of the chair a little bit so that they're right in the center and I'm not tipping the chair once again. So we've got a nice stable base underneath us. I'm going to step my feet back nice and far. They're about hip width apart. And then to find that down dog stretch, all I'm going to do is press those hips back towards the back of the room. I'm bringing my ears between my biceps, nice and long in either direction. And then same thing with our normal down dog. You can start with a nice little bend in those knees, or if you're feeling pretty good at this point, you can lengthen them up. Taking a second to pedal out those heels. So maybe if you do have a bend in those knees, you take this opportunity to kind of walk side to side and find that little bit of a stretch there through the back of the legs. All right, from here we're going to find a little bit of a core stability flow. So I want you to make sure that that chair is nice and stable when you press straight down from those palms. We're going to do our down dog to plank flow. For more stability at any time in any of these poses, all you need to do is step those feet in a little bit closer to that chair, and that'll bring you a little bit more stable of a base, a little bit closer to that chair. Like I said, down dog to plank flow. All we're going to do is shift those hips down and those shoulders out over those wrists. So this is my inclined plank here. And then I'm going to exhale to press my hips up and back once again. So there's a little bit of pressure through the wrists here as we shift out, but it's bringing it a little bit lighter than it would be if we were down on the floor. Making sure that if you do have those hands planted, that you have a little bit of pressure through all 10 fingers. So we're taking a little bit of the pressure out of those wrists, but nice and stable here, keeping it going like this a couple more times from that down dog into that plank. And let's do 3 more here. And I've got 1 more. all the way out, back in, and then we'll meet in that down dog. Now from here, we're going to change up our three-legged dog up next. So we're decreasing that base of support a little bit, using our balance a little bit. I am going to take my right foot up and back. So your three-legged dog might land you right here. Maybe you've got that little bit of extra flexibility and you want to press that leg up towards the ceiling for that nice little bit of an extra stretch through that bottom leg. But if you need to keep those toes nice and close to the ground for a little stability, or you don't have quite that flexibility, totally fine. Wherever you are, that's why you need lots of space here. And then from here, we're going to place that foot down and switch before we take it up a notch. So my right foot comes down, my left foot comes up and back, again through whatever range of motion you need it to be. And go ahead and place that down. We're going to do our modified mountain climbers up next. So from our three-legged dog, we're then going to pull that knee in towards the chest. You've got a couple of options here. Starting with my right foot up and back in my three-legged dog. From this position, I'm going to kind of shift out like we did in our down dog to plank. So I'm bringing my shoulders out towards my wrists. Your first option, the fullest extent of this, is going to be to shift all the way out and to pull that knee in between those elbows. Now, if that doesn't seem quite right for you today, all I want you to do is pull it out just as far as you can on that single leg. Place that foot down, bringing that knee up as close as you can. And then same thing, we're just going to sweep it up and back and then bring it in. One more time on this leg, so that's 3 for us coming up next. We're going all the way up into our three-legged dog, and then we're going to place that foot down and switch. Same thing other side, three-legged dog. We've got our modified mountain climber. You've got those options. Again, you can pull it all the way up, or you can place that foot down for more stability. Twice more on this side, 3 total. All the way into that three-legged dog and switch it up. We're going to do twice more of that on each side. So twice more with those 3 repetitions. Here comes my third. For our third, we're bringing it all the way in, all the way back out, and then we're setting down to switch. Same thing on that other leg, 3 times. All the way up, placing it down last time on either leg, and then we'll give those wrists a little bit of a break. We'll give that core a little bit of a break. Last time on that second leg. All the way up into our three-legged dog and set it down. Go ahead and walk those feet in and find that forward fold once again, so giving those wrists a little bit of a break. You can place those elbows down if you've got that flexibility today. You can lift it up a little bit if that's what feels good, or you can bring it down towards the floor in that forward fold. Maybe you take a couple rolls of the wrist in either direction, whatever feels good for you to give them a little break. All right, we're going to bring it back to our down dog to plank, but find a little bit of a different stretch here. So go ahead and plant those hands, lift that chest up just a little bit off of that chair if you were down low. Step those feet back. Press those hips up and back, downward dog. Now from here, like I said, first thing we're going to do is bring that down dog into our plank. So we're out nice and long once again, and then we're going to press back into our down dog. Second thing that we're going to do is bend at those knees next time we press back. So first thing, out to that plank. This time, instead of back to that downward dog, we're going to shift those hips back and bend those knees. So we're almost doing a kind of air squat here, but we've got our stability, our heels are up off of the floor. Extend those legs back out long, and then press those hips up and back into our down dog. Same thing, we're going to bring it out. Bend at those knees, press the hips back. extend back out, bring it back down dog. Keeping on going with that a couple of times here. Making sure you're nice and stable on that chair, pressing down and not forward. Nice job, you guys. Keep going. Couple more here. Two more. All right. We're going to find our crescent lunge up next. So from this position, you can bring it into your three-legged dog if you would like, bringing that right foot up and back. And then we're going to bring that foot forward so that the toes are right underneath the edge of that chair. Now this is going to help us because when we're in this position, we never want that knee to drift out over those toes. So the chair kind of helps us know where we're at with that. If the toes are under the chair, the knee can't drift forward as we find this. My back heel is still up off of the floor here. And then we're just going to find a little bit of an alternating stretch. So we've got this nice big stretch through the back of the leg and maybe through that hip flexor a little bit as well. And then we're going to shift that weight back a little bit. So we're going to bring that foot in just a tiny bit. There we go. We're going to shift that weight back a little bit, bend through that back knee, and hinge at those hips so we find a nice hamstring stretch for that front leg. So shifting into this, and then shifting back half split. So I do this from the floor. Sometimes that back knee would be down, and we would be alternating those hips forward and backward. But for this, we're still getting those same two nice stretches. We're just moving that foot a little bit to find that different stretch in each direction. Two more of these. All right, bring it back into that lunge. We're going to find our spinal twist next. If you're not feeling super stable, I invite you to stay right here. If you'd like to bring it to this spinal twist, I've got my right foot forward, so my left hand is going to stay planted on that chair, maybe bringing it to the center for just a little bit more stability down the middle, so that if you put that pressure on, the chair doesn't start to move. And then we're just going to open up through that right arm for our spinal twist with our lunge. Next big exhale, go ahead and bring it back down. We're going to find that one more time. With your inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it back down. Nice work. Okay, we've got our crescent lunge next to the fullest extent if you can. So a couple of options here. You can stay right where you are and just open up through that chest. If you're feeling kind of stable and you want to keep that left hand down once again and lift that right arm up towards the ceiling, that's awesome. Maybe you want to use the back of that chair just for a little bit of balance, 1 or 2 fingers, not your full pressure of your body, but just balancing here. Or maybe you're feeling really good and you want to just find that fullest extent of our crescent lunge here with that bend through that front knee and those arms up nice and long. Any of those options is awesome today. If you've got those arms up, we're going to find a cactus arm to extended arm. Either way, we're going to find a pulse through those legs. So I'm going to demo first here with those hands down. All we're going to do is lengthen through that front leg and then lunge it down into our crescent lunge. So it's just a movement of that front knee. If you've got one hand down and one hand up, we're extending up with that long arm, and then we're bringing that hand down, that elbow bends to our cactus as we bend through that knee. So extending up nice and long, bending at that knee into our cactus. If you've got both, we're extending up as we extend up. We're bringing both arms down into our cactus as we exhale. Couple of those here, any of those options. Nice work. For 3, 2. Last one, bringing it down to that crescent. Bring both of those hands down. We're stepping it back to our downward dog and switching legs. So, right foot comes back to meet the left. Nice little stretch here. And then time we've got that left side, so left foot can start up and back. Ooh. Kicking my chair. Bringing that foot forward. Once again, the toes come underneath there. First thing we've got is going to be that forward and backward movement. So that nice, I don't remember which order we did it in, but we're going to do the forward to backward first. So, same thing. We're bringing it into that nice lunge. We're stepping that foot slightly forward. That front toe lifts. We hinge at the hips, hamstring stretch. Couple of these here, same thing as that other side. Give me 3 more of these. Last one, and then we'll meet in that lunge. All right, our spinal twist is up next. So once again, if you're feeling stable here and you don't want to move it up, then feel free to stay right here in this nice lunge. If not, my left leg is forward, my right hand comes down onto that chair. I'm going to open up with that nice big inhale, that chest and that hand towards the ceiling. Next exhale brings it down. Same thing one more time. Inhale brings it up. Exhale brings it down. Now once again, we've got our crescent lunge. We've got all of those options. So any of those that sounds good for you today, totally fine. Keeping it your most stable version of this. And once again, we're going to find that pulse. So you've got those cactus arms as you lengthen, if you want to lengthen those arms. And then as you bend, bending at those elbows, maybe you've got that stability here. And so you just lengthen and bend that leg. Three more. Awesome. Go ahead and plant those hands down on that chair. We've got our downward dog. All right, we're going to find our warrior up next. So go ahead and bring that right foot forward. Once again, you can flow through that three-legged dog, or you can just step that foot forward. To find our warrior position here, you're going to turn that back heel down so that we've still got a bend in that front leg, but our back heel comes down. We've got a little bit more stability through that back leg. Now, if this feels good and you want to stay right here, this is totally fine. If you have a little bit more stability and you want to open up that chest, we've got that right hand down, that left arm opens up. If you would like to try it out, we can bring it up to right here, our full warrior. Nice length from fingertip to fingertip, using that chair for a little bit of support through that knee, making sure that it's not drifting out over the toe. If you're feeling good and you're in this position and you want to reverse your warrior, you can flip your front palm and reverse it, bringing it up and back. If that doesn't feel quite right, keeping it right at center is totally awesome. All right, with that next inhale, we're going to give that front leg a little break and lengthen through it. We're going to find our triangle. So for this triangle, if you're starting up tall, the first thing we're going to do is reach forward as far as we can. So I'm aiming for the top of that chair. Maybe you're aiming out as if someone's handing you a $100 bill on the tail end there. Or maybe you're down on this chair and you just walk those fingertips out a little bit further. The next thing we're going to do is actually meet you there. We're going to hinge forward and bring that hand down to that chair. So our fullest extent of this triangle pose would be to bring that hand down towards the floor. If you're feeling really stable and you want to find that, that's fine. Maybe you have the elbow on the chair for extra support, or maybe you keep it right where you were with that hand on that chair. Either way, we've got this nice stretch through that front leg. Inhale to bring it back up if you found it down towards the floor to that chair. We're going to circle this arm back down. We're going to bring this back heel up, back to our crescent. And then we're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left, down dog. Same thing on that other side. That left foot comes forward. Our back heel comes down. Once again, you've got all those options. We can just find that length right here. If you're feeling good, maybe you stand it up and find that length from fingertip to fingertip. Awesome. Once again, if you're here and you feel good and you want to reverse it, you can flip that front palm and lift up. If that doesn't feel good, just keep it right out at wherever you were before. Exhale, bring it back to where you were if you found that reversed warrior. And then we're going to find our triangle. So lengthening through that front leg. First thing we're going to do is extend those arms, and then we're hinging forward at those hips. So whether you're hinging here or whether you're walking those fingertips out, either way, we've got that hinge forward at those hips. And then we're going to meet all with that hand on the chair. Once again, you can bring the elbow down if that feels good. You can open up here into the fullest extent of this triangle, or you can keep it right where you were, whatever is most stable for you. Next, exhale, if you found down towards the floor, bring that hand back up to the chair. Circle that hand down, around, and in. Bring that back heel up. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Down dog. Taking a second here to take a little break. Maybe pedal out those heels once again. Maybe you just find a little bend in those knees and bring those feet in a little closer. Just taking a second for yourself to find your breath once again. All right, with your next exhale, I want you to step those feet forward. Forward fold. Once again, we're going to find our halfway lift. So inhale to that nice flat back, long spine. Exhale to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Last time. Halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Last time into our forward fold. Nice and controlled. Go ahead and roll it up to standing. All right. Can't do chair yoga without our chair pose. So we're going to turn around and use that chair for a little bit of support. So I am about 3 or 4 inches away from the edge of the chair. If you need to be a little closer for more stability, that's totally fine. However, this is just going to allow me to have something behind me to catch me if I do lose my balance. With your inhale, we're going to sweep those arms up towards the ceiling. And then with your exhale, we're just going to bend at those knees and sit those hips back almost into a squat. And then we're going to inhale to lengthen it up. So I'm aiming those hips back for that chair. They don't quite meet it all the time. If you do have that stability and that mobility to get back there, totally fine. That inhale brings us up tall. That exhale sits those hips back. Inhale comes up tall. Exhale sits those hips back. 2 more. Inhale brings us up tall. Exhale brings them back. 1 more time, just like that. Inhale comes up tall. Exhale sits them back. 1 more inhale to come up. Bring those feet close together. We're going to find a hold. So those toes almost meet. Those heels maybe a little bit further apart. Exhale. Go ahead, bring it down and back. A little hold here. Wherever you are, wherever you need to be. If here is your range of motion, awesome. If here is your range of motion, awesome. Keeping those arms up as much as you can. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale to stand it up. Exhale, circle those arms down. All right, I've got 1 more set of poses for you. I'm going to turn that chair to face you once again to finish us out with our gate pose today. All right, so for our gate pose, we're going to start seated on this chair. I'm going to move all the way to the left side so that my left hip is on the chair. and my right hip is off of it. So that's going to give this leg a little bit of space. I think I might have said that backwards, but you get what I mean. That gives us a little bit of space to move this leg. If you need to be a little closer to center because your chair isn't super stable, that's totally fine. You can keep it a little bit closer to center. We're going to bend this knee and plant this foot. So the one that is on the chair is we're using for all of our stability here. And then I'm going to take this leg out nice and long. I'm going to plant my toes out to face that opposite direction. We want to avoid locking our knee completely out because we don't want to put a bunch of pressure onto a locked out knee. However, nice long leg here. So if you need a little more bend for that stability, totally fine. If you can keep it out here without locking it out, that's awesome. So the fullest extent of this pose from the chair would be to extend those fingertips towards that toe, and this arm comes up over top nice and long. If you need that little bit more stability, maybe you place this hand down and bring this arm up over top, or maybe you just keep it at center and extend this arm up over top just to keep that little bit of instability in that direction out of this. Any of those options is fine. If you do have this hand down here, you should be able to support yourself without it. Like I said, we're not putting the pressure of our body weight into our locked out knee. Nice big inhale, go ahead, bring it back to center. We're gonna find that stretch one more time with your next exhale, bringing it into whatever version of that was good today. Inhale to bring it back up. Switching sides. Bringing this foot in, just sliding across the chair. Same thing on that other side. This leg creates a lot of stability. This foot comes out long. Same couple of options. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale, bring it up to center. Same thing one more time. Inhale, bring it up to center. Awesome. Go ahead, scoot back to the center of your chair. All right, so once again, we're not quite on the back of the chair to finish out. We're going to do just this final twist before we're done. So with your inhale, nice long spine. With your exhale, we're just going to move side to side in our spinal twist. So bringing that left hand to the outside of that right leg, and then I'm just bringing my hand around to the chair. Maybe once again you open up through that chest. Maybe your hand just stays down by your side. We're going to, like I said, move with the pace of your breath. So with each inhale, you're going to come through center, nice long spine, and that exhale brings us to that other side. So maybe you move a little bit faster or slower than me here. We're just going to keep it going a couple of times. Few more nice deep breaths. Last one brings us back to center. All right, awesome. We're going to find two big inhales and exhales. We're going to lead with those arms. First one, that inhale brings us out and up. That exhale circles us back down and around. This time our palms are going to meet overhead. Inhale brings us out and up. Palms meet right up over top of the head. Exhale, pull those hands down to heart center into prayer. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this chair yoga session. The light in me honors the light in you. Bowing as we say, namaste. Thanks everyone.